this offense and Coach Pep's terminology is catchy and easy to kind of pick up on the fly, and it's just different. But I mean, it wasn't super hard to understand the last offense, at least for me and some of the guys. I don't know about everyone, but yeah.
How did a Don Brown defense prepare you last year for what you saw during the year, and then how tough is that?
Yeah. With in the QB battle last fall, we were going against, I guess, the best, if not the second best, defense in the country, and the defensive backs were across the board top in the country. So yeah, that prepared me well to come out versus Hawaii, and then throughout the rest of the year, I would always just fall back on, look, if I did this in camp and completed this stuff during camp, why can't I do it this Saturday coming up? So, and that's the same thing for the spring ball. They're reloading, and they've got a bunch of young guys that are extremely talented, and it's good work for us.
Pep's worked with a lot of NFL quarterbacks. I think Jedd Fisch and Andrew Luck. What kind of credibility does that give him? He comes in here and helps you guys out to have that experience on his resume.
Yeah, that's huge to have someone that came from the NFL like Coach Fisch did and like Coach Pep just did. I think when you're at Michigan, that's kind of the standard. When Coach Harbaugh is going to bring in an assistant, it's not going to be someone that you could just randomly grab off the street really quickly. It's the best of the best, the top option, and that was what we got with Coach Pep once Coach Fisch left to UCLA. So, that's the good thing about, I guess the good and bad thing about being in Michigan. You're going to have a carousel, rotating carousel of assistant coaches, climbing the ladder, but Coach Harbaugh is going to keep reloading. So,
well, what was your initial, like the first time that you met Pep, and I guess could you walk us through meeting him and kind of just coming to terms? Hey, I'm the quarterback. You're the offense, passing game coordinator. What was that like?
Yeah, I think the first time we met, he shook my hand, and then we went straight to the board, to the whiteboard, and he said, "All right, what are you going to do versus this look and this look?" And we just jumped right into football. And his big thing was we'll get to know each other. As time goes on, we'll build a good relationship. But right now, it's about football, and that's what I love. It's a working relationship first. We're all trying to be the best that we can be, the best coach, the best quarterback, the best players to ultimately succeed in the fall, and then when that time comes to move on to the next level.
You said you wanted to get pushed by the other quarterbacks. Is that happening? Are you on your toes? Or are they pushing?
Always. Across the board, position-wise. Coach Harbaugh's pushing me. Coach Pep's pushing me. All the quarterbacks are pushing me. Malzone, Sessa, everyone. So, you can't get lackadaisical or complacent, and it's not just the rest of the quarterbacks here. It's the rest of the quarterbacks in the Big Ten that are trying to do their best to be the best quarterback in the Big Ten, and you just kind of have to have that mindset all the time.
Is that how you look at it? You want to be the best in the league?
Well, a couple of true freshman wide receivers. How have they been coming along?
Oh yeah, they're doing really well. Tariq and DPJ and those guys to come in just out of high school. I think I said it after the first practice. Their prom is coming up, but they just finished practice 7 of Michigan football spring ball. So to be making the plays and being as physical as those two are for 2 high school kids, it's special.
Wilton, speaking of those receivers, do you see a different level of playmaking at all than what you've been used to?
No, because I was used to JU and Lamar Darbo, and those 2 guys were very, very special. But similar to the Michigan coaching carousel, it's the wide receiver and quarterback and offense and defensive line, every position across the board. It's okay if we're Michigan, we're gonna lose a bunch of weapons, but we're gonna reload. So,
how are the young defensive backs to throw against?
Yeah, D-Long. D-Long's doing a lot of good things. Keith Washington, all those guys. They're young, but they saw, like the wide receivers did, they saw how Striv and JD and all those guys kind of operated, and Leno. And, Levert has obviously lived with his older brother all his life, and then came to be his teammate for a year and saw how he operated. So, fortunately, I think that they were so prepared and so football intelligent, that there won't be much drop off.
The mindset change from, I want to win this job, I want to keep this job, to I want to be the best quarterback in the league. Was it after you became comfortable with what you could do, or is that just something new this year?
No, I mean, it was, it's always, okay, if I can check this off, then it's next. It's not, okay, let me sit in this little checked off box for as long as I can and be comfortable. It's, okay, I need to keep achieving every little goal that I have, on my list. And, obviously I'm still doing my best to make sure that box is checked off, that I'm the quarterback here, but, at the same time, I'm trying to check that next box off of whatever's next in line.
Is another part of it proving that you can do it with brand new receivers, brand new, young guys? Like we just said, all these guys are gone. Is that a challenge you're embracing? That
I mean, it's just part of football, I think. You're never gonna. You only get 4, maybe 5 years in college, and a place like here where you lose a guy like Jabril after 3. So that's just part of it. It's not like oh gosh, well this is a bummer. I'm gonna have to deal with this. It's every quarterback and every coaching staff and team goes through it. So might as well just get it done.
How long does that take for that it's not written, but you don't have to always talk to receivers.
Right.
They know what you're going to do and vice versa. You had a really good chemistry before. How long does that take?
Yeah, it definitely doesn't happen overnight. These guys are making tons of plays and freak specimens, but that relationship that you can have, that unspoken relationship where you can just give, I could give Darbo a look or give Jake or JU a look, that'll come. And we're halfway through spring ball and you're starting to see it form. That'll continue to form towards the back half, and then it's up to us without the coaches all summer to be ready for August to come and be ready to hit the ground running.
How much easier is it for you? You got a new coach, obviously, but you still have that relationship with Harbaugh, where like you're saying with receivers, you can just look at them and they kind of know what you're thinking. Is it a lot easier to deal with now that you know what he's thinking, he knows what you're thinking, kind of thing when you're working?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. Being my 3rd year with Coach Harbaugh, you can kind of anticipate things more, and I know when something might be coming, but at the same time, he's one of the most unique people anyone ever really come across. He's got a mind of his own, and you don't really figure him out. Like Jedd and I had we were on the same page all the time, and but Harbaugh's just Coach Harbaugh.
Is that a good thing?
Definitely, yeah, because that keeps everyone on their toes. And I love that about coming to work every day and being like, I don't know what he's thinking, so I better do my best every single play.
How much progress have you and Pep made as far as getting on the same page?
Yeah, no, we're pretty much there. He sees the game kind of like I do when I'm back there, and we're always talking post snap about that was the right place to go, or I should have gone somewhere else, and it's been really cool learning from him, so far this spring.
Has there been a big adjustment compared to what you were doing with Jedd?
Not really, no. Obviously with the head man being so closely tied to the quarterbacks, it's kind of hit the ground running with Coach Pep. There's slight differences, but both are tremendous coaches.
Can you measure how much better you are this spring than you were last spring?
Yeah, I mean, there's just more. I'm not in the back there in the pocket freaking out, or the game has definitely slowed down a little bit. Now just the challenges meshing with 7, 8, 9, 10 new guys.
What was Pep's initial, critique of you? Did he sit down and say, hey, this is what I like about what you do, this is what I want you to improve on? Did he give you that rundown?
Yeah, and I mean, you guys, I know he's right there, so y'all could probably talk to him about that. But yeah, he just said, this is I love a lot of things that you do. These are some little things that we can fix to iron out the mistakes that I made last year, whether it was that Dover that I threw versus Rutgers where I one-hopped it to JU. That always sticks out in my mind. We watched that and we figured out that I kind of faded away from that throw, and just other certain little details that he's really come in and tried to hammer down and get out of my system. So
is it more like mental-wise, comprehension-wise that he's working on, or rather than like fixing mechanics or anything like that? Is it
I think once you get to college, you know, you look at guys like Phillip Rivers and who had the worst mechanics of all time, but he still got the job done. That's my favorite quarterback, by the way. But you know, if it gets the job done, you don't need to worry about throwing motion or anything like that. It's just, you know, maybe coming away from center a little bit faster or keeping my base a little wider. But as far as throwing mechanics, no.
What's your favorite? What's Pep like? What's he like personally?
He's a really cool guy. You know, he was telling me a story about he and his son, and you know, Jackson, his son, is always in here